Listen to me, no more excuses. You got a dream, a goal, a purpose, then why are you waiting? Why are you giving yourself permission to stay comfortable, to procrastinate, to say maybe tomorrow? No, the time is now. You want results, right? You want success, right? Then you've got to stop negotiating with your potential. You don't get to say, I'm tired. You don't get to say, I don't feel like it. You've got a goal, and the only thing standing between you and it is your excuses. I didn't come from privilege. I was homeless. I was high school dropout, but I made a decision to grind, a decision to show up every single day, even when I didn't feel like it. And because I made that decision, I'm standing here today. Some of you are smarter than me. Some of you have more talent, more money, more connections. But guess what? You don't have more hustle. You don't have more drive. And that's why I'm eating while some of y'all are still starving. Get up, get moving, get it done. No excuses. Either you want it or you don't. Either you're hungry or you're comfortable, but you can't be both. This is your moment. Don't let another day pass you by. Write the book, launch the business, go to the gym, fix the relationship, make the call, get it done. Because when you wake up tomorrow, the only thing that's going to matter is, did you make progress? Or did you make excuses? Success doesn't care how you feel. That may sound harsh, but it's the truth. The world doesn't pause for your emotions. It doesn't stop spinning because you're tired, sad, unmotivated, or feeling uninspired. Success is not built on convenience. It's not built on moods or emotions. It's built on action, on discipline, on showing up when you least feel like it. That's the part most people don't want to hear, but it's exactly what separates winners from dreamers. There are going to be mornings where your body is sore, your mind is heavy, and your heart feels broken. You may feel overwhelmed, discouraged, even defeated before the day begins, but success doesn't care. It demands the same from you whether you're in the mood or not. It expects the same hustle on the days you're up as it does on the days you're down, because success doesn't reward feelings, it rewards results. Look at the most successful people in the world. You think they feel like grinding every day? You think they always wake up pumped, ready to conquer the world? No, they feel what you feel. They feel stress, fatigue, disappointment, even fear. But the difference is they move anyway. They don't let how they feel dictate what they do. They've trained themselves to follow a routine, to commit to the process, and to trust that every brick they lay, even on bad days, is building something powerful. You've got to stop letting your emotions control your actions. Yes, you're human. You have feelings. I'm not saying ignore them. I'm saying don't let them drive your decisions. Don't let a bad mood steal a great opportunity. Don't let a tough morning ruin a productive day. Because if you only work when you feel good, you'll never get anywhere. If you only show up when you're excited, you'll always be inconsistent. And inconsistency is the enemy of success. When you're trying to reach a goal, when you chase something that matters, you have to become the type of person who shows up regardless. You lace up your shoes even when you'd rather stay in bed. You study when your brain is tired. You practice when your body is sore. You keep going when your spirit is weak. Because that's what it takes. That's what greatness demands. No one ever reached their dreams by being casual about the process. There's no shortcut around this. You can't cheat your way to success by waiting for the perfect day. The perfect day doesn't exist. There will always be problems, always be stress, always be some reason to pause or delay. But if you keep waiting for your feelings to line up with your goals, you'll wait forever. You have to be the one who says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. That's power. That's ownership. That's where the real growth happens. And let's be honest, feelings are temporary. They change with the weather. You might feel lazy now, but once you start, that feeling fades. You might feel discouraged, but the moment you take a step forward, momentum builds. Emotions are not permanent, but your actions, they create lasting results. So don't let a temporary emotion cause you to make a permanent decision, like giving up, like skipping a task, like quitting on your dream. What you've got to do is set a standard, a code you live by, not based on how you feel, but based on who you want to become. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't knock on your door because you felt inspired. It shows up when you've proven you're committed. It arrives when you've earned it. And earning it means showing up through the pain, through the doubt, through the mental fog. Start holding yourself accountable. Instead of saying, I'll do it later, say, I'll do it now no matter what. Instead of, I'm not in the mood, say, this is what needs to be done. Because the truth is, the gap between you and your goals isn't ability, it's consistent. It's the grind. It's the refusal to make excuses. If you learn how to take action regardless of emotion, you become unstoppable. So next time you feel like quitting, remember, success doesn't care how you feel, but it does care if you show up. And if you do that enough times, even when it's hard, even when it's ugly, even when no one's watching, success will find you, not because you waited for motivation, but because you showed up with discipline. Not because you felt good, but because you did the work anyway. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. That's the mindset that changes everything. Excuses are lies you tell yourself to feel better about not acting. That's the raw truth. It might sting a little, but it's something we all need to face if we want to reach any level of real success. Every time you say, I don't have enough time, or I'm not ready yet, or it's too hard, what you're really doing is protecting your comfort zone. You're avoiding discomfort by building a lie that sounds reasonable, but is rooted in fear, laziness, or doubt. And the worst part is, you believe it. We've all done it. Told ourselves stories to justify inaction. Maybe you said, I'll start tomorrow, knowing deep down that tomorrow becomes next week and next week becomes never. Or maybe you said, I'm too tired, when in reality you spent hours scrolling, watching TV, or doing things that drained your energy without adding value. Those are not real reasons. They're excuses. And the more you make them, the easier they become. Excuses are dangerous because they're sneaky. They don't know they sound like lies. In fact, they often sound like logic. They dress themselves up in just enough truth to make you comfortable. But comfort is not where growth happens. You don't get stronger sitting still. You don't get smarter avoiding challenges. And you definitely don't achieve greatness making excuses. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself. If you say you want to change, then why are you still doing the same things? If you say you want more out of life, then why are you giving less than your best? If the answer is, I have reasons, check again. Most of the time, those reasons are just cleverly disguised excuses. They're fear in costume. They're doubt in disguise. You can't make progress and make excuses at the same time. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your goal. You say, I'll start working out when I have more time, but time isn't the issue. It's commitment. You say, I'm not ready to launch my business, but readiness isn't the problem. It's courage. You say, it's too late for me, but that's not true either. What's really happening is you're avoiding the discomfort that comes with change. Think about what your life could look like if you stopped making excuses. If you stop allowing yourself to settle. If you caught yourself every time you started to say, I can't, and instead ask, how can I? That shift right there is the difference between average and excellent, between wishing and winning. See, excuses give you a temporary way out. They make you feel good in the short term. They relieve the pressure. But long term, they cost you everything. They rob you of growth, of progress, of opportunity. They steal your potential before it even has a chance to show up. And the more you rely on them, the weaker your discipline becomes. The more you protect your comfort, the less you build your character. You have to understand something. Life doesn't reward excuses. It rewards execution. It rewards people who get things done, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when they're scared. The person who wins isn't the one with the most talent or the best background. It's the one who stopped lying to themselves, stopped waiting for perfect conditions, and decided to act. Excuses are a trap. They're a safety net that keeps you stuck. If you keep telling yourself the same story, you'll keep living the same life. You'll wake up a year from now with the same dreams, the same frustrations, the same regrets, because nothing changed. And nothing changed because you kept making excuses. You want more, then demand more from yourself. Stop settling for these comfortable little lies. Start calling yourself a higher standard. Remind yourself that every excuse is costing you time you'll never get back. Remind yourself that while you're making excuses, someone else is making progress. And here's the truth. You are capable. You are strong enough. You are smart enough. You just have to stop doubting and start doing. You don't need another book, another podcast, another motivational video. What you need is to decide, to commit, to stop blaming your circumstances, your past, your environment, and start taking full responsibility. Everything you want is on the other side of your excuses. That version of you that's more confident, more successful, more fulfilled. You don't get there by making excuses. You get there by doing the work, by pushing through when it's hard, by choosing discipline over comfort. You don't need perfect. You just need effort. So the next time an excuse tries to sneak in, catch it, shut it down, replace it with truth, with action, with purpose. Because the life you want won't be handed to you. You've got to earn it. And to earn it, you got to stop lying to yourself. No more excuses, just results. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's the quiet force that doesn't scream for attention, but it gets things done. It doesn't rely on motivation or hype. Discipline shows up every single day, even when no one is watching. It's waking up early when the bed feels warm and the room is cold. It's going to the gym after a long day when your body says rest. It's doing the hard things consistently, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. We live in a world where people crave instant gratification. Everyone wants the rewards, but very few are willing to put in the long-term work. That's where discipline makes all the difference. Discipline is what keeps you grounded when distractions are pulling you in every direction. It keeps you focused when the world is noisy. When everyone else is celebrating too early, discipline is the quiet reminder that the job isn't finished yet. You can set all the goals you want. You can visualize, manifest, and write them down on a vision board. But if you don't have the discipline to take action day after day, those goals will stay dreams. Dreams without discipline are just fantasies. They feel good to talk about, but they lead nowhere. It's discipline that turns the dream into a plan and the plan into results. Discipline is saying no to the easy way out. It's sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term growth. It's choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. It's understanding that the grind isn't glamorous, but it's necessary. The early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices. They're not meant to be easy. They're meant to make you stronger. And that strength comes from doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, even defeated. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline's loyal. It's not based on emotions, it's based on commitment. That's why it's powerful. Motivation fades, inspiration comes and goes. But discipline, real, unshakable discipline, sticks with you through it all. It's there when the mood is gone. It's there when the obstacles pile up. It doesn't flinch. Some people wait for the right time to get started. They wait to feel ready. But if you're disciplined, you understand that the right time is now. You act in the face of doubt. You move forward even when you're unsure. Because discipline doesn't need certainty. It needs consistency. The truth is, you won't always feel like showing up. You won't always be excited. But discipline means you show up anyway. And that's what builds character. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise, you're telling yourself, I can count on me. That internal trust is powerful. It's the foundation of self-respect and confidence. When you know you're disciplined, you walk differently, you think differently, you operate with a different level of energy because you've proven to yourself that you're not just talk, you're action. Look around. The people who are winning at life didn't get there by accident. They got there by being disciplined when no one else was. They weren't just lucky, they were consistent. They weren't always the most talented, the smartest, or the most connected, but they were the most committed. And that commitment is what moved them forward when others quit. Discipline is about making the decision once and sticking to it. Not every day asking yourself, should I do it today? No. You make the decision that you are the type of person who gets things done, then you act like it. You don't negotiate with laziness. You don't argue with doubt. You silence the noise with action. That's how discipline works. It's not glamorous. It's not loud, but it is relentless. And when discipline becomes a part of your identity, success becomes inevitable. Because now it's not a question of if you'll get there, it's just a matter of when. You stop chasing motivation and start becoming the person who doesn't quit. That consistency creates momentum, and momentum is the fuel that keeps you moving toward your goals. Yes, discipline is tough. It requires sacrifice. It means choosing to do things that others won't. But in return, you get to live a life that others can't. You gain freedom, not by avoiding structure, but by mastering it. The freedom to live on your terms, the freedom to say you built something with your own hands. That's the reward of discipline. So if you're serious about your goals, stop waiting for the perfect mood, the right moment, or the next burst of motivation. Instead, commit to discipline. Wake up, show up, do the work day after day, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Because on the other side of discipline is the life you've been dreaming of. And the only way to get there is to earn it, one disciplined step at a time. Success doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're stressed, if you're in a bad mood, or if life is throwing challenges your way. Success responds only to one thing: effort. Consistent, disciplined, focused effort. It responds to those who do the work, whether they feel like it or not. Because the harsh truth is, your feelings are not facts. They are temporary and they come and go. If you let them control your actions, you'll live a life of inconsistency and unfulfilled potential. You're not always going to feel like working hard. You're not always going to feel motivated. That's life. There will be days when you're exhausted, frustrated, or overwhelmed. Days when everything seems to go wrong. But if you let those feelings determine your actions, you're giving away your power. You're allowing your emotions to lead you instead of your purpose. Success requires emotional maturity. It demands that you act not based on how you feel in the moment, but based on the outcome you desire in the long run. You've got to be bigger than your emotions. You've got to rise above how you feel and remember why you started. When you said you wanted to be great, that came with a price, and that price is showing up no matter what. Think about it. When was the last time you achieved something meaningful by doing only what felt good? Growth lives in discomfort. Progress lives in discipline, not in mood swings, not in feelings. Every time you let your feelings decide whether or not you take action, you're sabotaging your own progress. There are people who grind while feeling broken inside. There are athletes who train while injured. Entrepreneurs who work through heartbreak. Students who study through anxiety. What separates them from the rest is their refusal to let emotions dictate their performance. They've made a decision that no matter how they feel, they will do what must be done. Now, that doesn't mean you become emotionless or ignore your mental health. It means you develop resilience. It means you learn to function even when conditions aren't perfect, because they rarely are. Waiting for a time when everything feels just right is a trap. It's procrastination in disguise. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time, but there is always time to make progress. When you learn to act regardless of how you feel, you unlock a new level of power. You stop being controlled by external circumstances. You become unshakable, reliable. You build a reputation with yourself that says, I don't fold under pressure. That kind of confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from action, from doing the hard things when no one is watching, when it's raining, when you're tired, when it would be easier to quit. Look around you. The people who are truly winning are the ones who've mastered this skill. They show up early, they stay late, they execute whether they're in the mood or not. They've decided that success is non-negotiable, and so is the work that leads to it. They treat their goals like responsibilities, not options. That's the difference. You can't let your life be ruled by what's convenient or comfortable, because comfort is the enemy of greatness. The more you give into how you feel, the more power you lose. The more you push through discomfort, the stronger you become. Every time you override the impulse to quit or delay, you train your mind to be tougher, more disciplined, more focused. You have to understand that feelings are fleeting, but results are permanent. You might feel tired today, but if you push through and do the work, that progress is real. You might feel unmotivated, but the reps you put in will still count. The paper you finish, the workout you complete, the phone call you make, it all adds up. You don't need to feel good to get good results. You just need to show up and get it done. Some of the most important breakthroughs you'll ever have will come on the days when you feel like quitting. The days when everything inside you says, take it easy, and you still choose to keep going. That's when the real growth happens. That's when you build grit, toughness, and strength. Not when it's easy, when it's hard and you keep pushing anyway. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop relying on motivation. Instead, build habits, build routines, build discipline, build a mindset that says, no matter what, I do the work. Because when you can master your emotions, you can master your destiny. And that's when everything starts to change. You can't control how you feel every day, but you can control what you do about it. You can decide that feelings won't run your life. Your purpose will. You can decide that your goals are worth more than temporary comfort. And once you make that decision, once you live by it, nothing can stop you. Not the bad days, not the setbacks, not even your own doubt. Success doesn't care how you feel. It only cares that you showed up and put in the work. So show up every day, no matter what, because that's how you win. You've got to want it more than you want to breathe. That's the level of hunger we're talking about. That's the mindset it takes to win, to push past every excuse, every obstacle, every reason to quit. Because when your desire is that intense, when you want success like your life depends on it, nothing can stop you. You stop making excuses, you stop blaming others, you stop waiting for the right time, you start moving with urgency, with fire, with relentless focus. This kind of hunger isn't something you can fake. It's not about saying you want it, it's about proving it with your actions. Every single day. You say you want to succeed, but how badly do you want it? Are you willing to wake up before the sun? Are you willing to stay up when everyone else is asleep? Are you willing to put in the work when the results aren't showing yet? That's the test. Hunger doesn't disappear when things get hard. It shows up stronger. Most people don't succeed because they don't want it badly enough. They want it when it's easy. They want it when it's fun. They want it when it's convenient. But real hunger is 24/7. It doesn't clock out. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you failed before, or if the world is telling you to settle. Real hunger says, I don't care what's in front of me, I'm going to find a way. You got to be obsessed with the outcome you want, not casually interested, obsessed. Because when you're obsessed, you don't quit after a bad day. You don't let failure define you. You learn from it, you grow from it, and you come back stronger. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Hunger drives consistency, and consistency drives results. Look around at the people who are truly successful, not the ones who got lucky, but the ones who built it brick by brick. You'll find hunger at the core of every single story. They weren't the smartest. They weren't always the most talented, but they were the hungriest. They were willing to outwork everyone else. They were willing to sacrifice. They didn't just want it, they needed it. And that kind of hunger changes you. It changes how you think, how you move, how you deal with failure. It makes you resourceful. When you want it badly enough, you stop saying, I can't, and you start asking, how can I? You start finding solutions instead of problems. You stop waiting for permission and start creating opportunities. This isn't just about career goals or money. It's about anything worth fighting for. Your health, your family, your future. You've got to dig deep and find that reason, that why that burns inside you. Because when the road gets dark, when your back's against the wall, that why is what keeps you going. That why is what reminds you that giving up is not an option. People will doubt you, they'll laugh at you, they'll try to discourage you, but none of that matters when you're hungry enough. You won't need their approval. The applause, because your drive comes from within. That fire is self-sustained. And that's what makes it unstoppable. It's easy to talk a big game. It's easy to say you're committed, but the truth shows up in your habits, in your effort, in your persistence. So ask yourself, what are you willing to do to get what you want? Are you willing to give up comfort? Are you willing to delay gratification? Are you willing to risk failing in front of others just for the chance to win? If the answer is yes, then get moving. Stop waiting for the perfect plan or the perfect moment. Hunger doesn't wait. It acts, it adapts, it grows. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be hungry enough to start. And once you start, you keep going, no matter what. There will be moments when you question everything, moments when the pain feels too heavy and the progress too slow. But hunger keeps your feet moving. Hunger tells you, I didn't come this far just to come this far. Hunger reminds you why you started and pushes you to finish. You won't always feel motivated. That's normal. But when you're hungry, motivation isn't required. You operate off of mission, off of purpose, off of passion. And that kind of fire, it can't be taught, it's chosen. It's a decision you make every single day to keep chasing, to keep grinding, to keep believing in the face of every setback. So if you're not where you want to be, don't blame the system. Don't blame your past. Don't blame the people around you. Ask yourself, am I hungry enough? Am I doing everything in my power to move forward, or am I still waiting for something to happen? Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you success. It's up to you. And if you want it, really want it, then go get it. Be hungry. Stay hungry. And don't stop until you get it done. Discipline is the foundation of greatness. Without it, talent is wasted, motivation fades, and goals remain dreams. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's about consistency. It's about showing up day after day and executing with focus and determination, even when it's boring, hard, or inconvenient. Discipline doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. There are going to be days when you feel fired up, ready to take on the world. But there will also be days when you're tired, frustrated, or just not in the mood. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is the bridge between intention and action. It's the voice that says, I don't care how you feel, you made a commitment, follow through. You can't build anything lasting without discipline. Success isn't the result of one big effort. It's the result of many small actions repeated consistently over time. One workout won't get you in shape. One study session won't get you the degree. One day of effort won't build a business. It's the cumulative effect of discipline, repeated daily, that drives transformation. People often confuse discipline with punishment. They think it's restrictive. But discipline isn't about limitation, it's about liberation. It frees you from chaos, from laziness, from regret. When you're disciplined, you don't waste time debating whether or not to do the work. You just do it. That mental clarity, that structure gives you power. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is how we use them. Discipline makes sure you use them wisely. It prioritizes what matters over what's easy. It forces you to say no to distractions, to comfort, to instant gratification. And it's not glamorous, it's not always fun, but it works. Think about the greats, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. What separates them isn't just skill, it's the grind. It's the unshakable discipline to show up and get better even when nobody's watching, even when no one is clapping. They train their minds to operate on commitment, not convenience. Discipline builds mental toughness. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you strengthen your willpower. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you train yourself to be more resilient. And in a world full of shortcuts, that resilience is rare. That's what sets disciplined people apart. They don't take the easy route, they take the right route. Now, developing discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's a muscle you build. It starts with small choices. Waking up when the alarm goes off. Sticking to your schedule. Finishing what you start. Each time you honor a commitment, you build trust with yourself. And that trust, that's what fuels long-term success. A disciplined life is a structured life. You set goals, you make a plan, you execute that plan. You don't wait to feel like it. You lead yourself, because at the end of the day, no one is going to force you to chase your dreams. No one's going to make you get up early or stay late. That's on you. And if you can't lead yourself, how can you expect to lead others? Discipline is also about self-respect. When you keep your word to yourself, when you follow through on your goals, you prove to yourself that you are worthy of success, that you are someone who doesn't fold under pressure, that you are someone who finishes what they start. That internal belief built through discipline is what gives you confidence. On the flip side, when you lack discipline, you're constantly at war with yourself. You set goals and then break your promises. You get distracted, you make excuses, and over time that erodes your self-esteem. It creates a cycle of frustration and regret. But the good news, that cycle can be broken with discipline. Discipline is also what keeps you grounded when life gets chaotic. It gives you something solid to hold on to. When everything around you feels uncertain, your routines, your habits, your structure, that's your anchor. That's how you keep moving forward no matter what. It's easy to get excited about goals, but excitement fades. Life gets in the way. That's why discipline is non-negotiable. It's the system that keeps you going when motivation disappears. It's the difference between short-term enthusiasm and long-term achievement. The truth is, you're not always going to be inspired. You're not always going to be in the mood to grind, but you can train yourself to be disciplined. And once you do, it becomes a way of life. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop procrastinating. You get laser focused on execution. You want to change your life? Start with discipline. You want to achieve big goals? Lock in your daily routine. You want to be great? Build habits that support your vision. Because success isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create, brick by brick, choice by choice, action by action. Discipline is your superpower. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the executors, the average from the elite. If you want to become the best version of yourself, then master the art of discipline. No excuses, no shortcuts, just consistent, focused action, day in, day out. Success is not reserved for the lucky, the talented, or the privileged. Success belongs to those who outwork everyone else. It's earned, not given. The people who win, the people who reach the top, they aren't always the smartest or the most naturally gifted. They are the ones who are willing to outgrind, out-hustle, and outlast the rest. They're the ones who get up earlier, stay up later, and keep pushing when everyone else has quit. There's a certain kind of power that comes with work ethic. When you make the decision that no one is going to outwork you, you tap into a level of focus, energy, and resilience that most people never experience. It's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about raising your own standard. You decide that you're going to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. Most people want the rewards, but they don't want to put in the work. They want the results, but not the grind. They see someone successful and say they got lucky or it must be nice. But what they don't see are the late nights, the early mornings, the rejections, the sacrifices. They don't see the years of effort that went into that overnight success. Because behind every story of greatness is a story of hustle. Behind every win is a mountain of work. If you want to be the best, then you got to be willing to do that means showing up when you don't feel like it. That means going the extra mile, not once, but every single day. That means being so committed to your goals that nothing, not fatigue, not doubt, not distractions can pull you off track. This is what separates good from great. Good is comfortable. Good is easy. Good is doing just enough to get by. But great is painful. Great is lonely. Great is giving 100% when you feel like you got nothing left. Great is staying hungry after you've already eaten. Hard work is a mindset. It's about embracing the grind, not avoiding it. It's about falling in love with the process, not just the outcome. If you can learn to love the work, the results will take care of themselves. And that's the key. Most people chase the trophy, but the winners, they chase the sweat. They chase the discipline. They chase the daily habits that lead to mastery. It doesn't matter what field you're in, sports, business, art, education. Hard work is the equalizer. It levels the playing field. You may not have the same resources or connections as someone else, but if you've got heart and hustle, you can close that gap. You can beat someone more talented than you if you're willing to outwork them. Every single time. And let's be real, it's not always fun. There will be days when you're exhausted, days when you question whether it's all worth it, days when you don't see any progress. That's where most people give up. But the winners, they keep going. Not because it's easy, but because they've made a promise to themselves, a promise that they won't stop until the job is done. When you commit to outworking everyone, you create momentum. You start stacking wins, small wins, daily wins, and those wins compound. Over time, that effort turns into skill. That skill turns into confidence, and that confidence turns into results. It's a process. It's not instant, but it's inevitable if you stay consistent. There's a saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's the truth. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you're not willing to grind, it's meaningless. On the flip side, someone with average talent but above average effort can build a life that's anything but average. People will doubt you. They'll try to convince you to slow down, to settle, to take it easy. But don't let their limitations become your reality. Stay locked in. Let your actions speak. Let your work ethic become your reputation. Let them see you outlast, outperform, and outshine. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because you made a decision to never be outworked. The grind isn't glamorous. It's not always Instagram worthy. It happens in silence and solitude, in the early mornings and the late nights. But it's in those moments, the ones nobody sees, that greatness is built. That's where champions are made. So if you're serious about your goals, if you're tired of watching from the sidelines while others win, then make the decision right now. I will not be outworked. I will give everything I have every day without excuses. I will show up. I will go all in. I will keep going when it's tough, when it's slow, when it's thankless, because I know that hard work always pays off. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually always. Your dreams are waiting on the other side of effort. So get up, get focused, get to work. No excuses, just hustle.